Hey guys, Brian delivers you the goods here. I'm returning to you for part 2 of the top 15 decent to good albums of 2019. So I'm gonna continue where I left off and let you know what I think of the rest of these albums I put from 9 to 1. So let's dive into it by starting with number 9, which is Cage the Elephant Social Cues. This album was pretty average. It actually wasn't too bad. It made it at a good spot in the top 10. So at least it actually had entertaining songs. I really enjoyed Night Running. Um, the first track, Broken Boy, was actually not too bad. It was, sorry, it was decent, but it was actually, my bad, not too bad. I was eating pizza, so sorry about that. It's going right through me now. Yeah. But, uh, yeah, Social Cues was actually a really good album. It ended very well with Goodbye, which was a really good track. House of Glass is enjoyable. Ready to Let Go was actually not a bad single. Wasn't my favorite particularly, but it wasn't bad. It was not a bad single. It was actually pretty good for the most part. So, yeah. Social Cues by Cage the Elephant made it at my number 9. At number 8 is Maggie Rogers' Heard It in a Past Life. This came out in January, so it's a few months old now. Or almost coming up to 4 months old now. But it was enjoyable. The Past Life song was really good. Light On was an excellent track. Falling Water was not bad. Retrograde was actually my favorite. And the first track, Give a Little, had a really nice pop dance kind of melody to it, and it was pretty catchy, so it gets you moving. But it's a really good track, and this album made it at my number 8 because it was pretty good. Number 7 is MNQN's self-titled album. This is Dustin Bates' solo project Dustin Bates from Starset, his solo project, which he named it MNQN, and the album's name's MNQN, so technically a self-titled album. But it's good. It's got a few cringy songs in it, but overall, there's a few missteps in a few songs, but the electronical work in it, just some of it seems a little plain and boring, unfortunately. But not every track on here is terrible, but it does good sometimes with the electronical work. But I Ghost was actually not a bad song. It was kind of my favorite. Amphetamine was, it was fine. But the album itself as a whole, it takes a different direction with the sound, electronical sound. And it kind of diverts from being good and then kind of slipping up a little bit, but it made it at my number 7, so I can't complain. At number 6 is Demon Hunter Peace. This album was very mellow rock kind of album. I really did enjoy the self-titled track, the title track Peace. Uh, More Than Bones was actually pretty good. Uh, I Don't Believe You was a solid track. Loneliness was like 5 minutes long, and geez, it was pretty long. But I did like Rescue Myself. The last song was really good. It was very mellow. It had kind of a sad kind of tempo melody to it with Ryan's voice in it. With Ryan singing and the melody going along with it, with the piano work coming in it. Just, it felt somewhat depressing, but in a good way. But yeah, this album made it at my number 6 because it had a few tweaks of problems in it, but not something that's terrible. It's something that's pretty good and something I definitely can come back to and enjoy. But like I said, it made it at my number 6, so that's good. And number 5 is Buckcherry Warpaint. This album was good. It made it up my top 5, so that's good. This album does have a few tweakish moments where it kind of has some cringy songs in it, but doesn't do too bad for a few songs. Head Like a Hole, the single, was really great. I really enjoyed it, and The Devil in the Details, the final track, was actually pretty good. The title track, Warpaint, was... it's been a while since I heard this album, but I'd have to go back and listen to it again and get my true perspective on it, but I really did enjoy a few of the songs on here, or mostly almost every one of them. And it made it at my number 5 because it did pretty good as a whole album, and the flow of it connected very well with each track. So yeah, made it at my number 5. And number 4 is One OK Rock, Eye of the Storm. Now this would have made it at my number 1, but it doesn't deserve number 1 because there were some cringy songs in here that don't do so well. They went off track this time around with their heavy rock sound that I'm so familiar with from them, that I really enjoyed from the last album, Ambitions. They did experiment with a lot with this album. And in Ambitions, they only experimented a little bit, but with this album, they went very mellow, they went very pop, and does it work? Mostly. The tracks are not bad. I do like the mellower side of them this time around because they delivered quite a punch. Pushback was actually my favorite track on here, and Worse Than Me is growing on me, so is Letting Go. But the only song that kind of bugs me is Grow Old, Die Young, with the line, I want the cause of my death to be amazing sex. That line is just retarded. I hate that line in the song. It feels kind of stupid and silly and does not work. But this album made it at my number 4 because it had a quite majority of songs to enjoy, even with their mellower side this time around. But maybe in the 10th studio album they can go back to what they're really known for with the rock sound. But I don't know if they will. they could always just go along with the pop sound that they're used to, or that they're trying to go for this time around. But anywho, this album made it at my number 4 because it did good. At number 3 is Whitechapel The Valley. This album was good. There were a lot of great tracks on it. The Other Side was my favorite one. Can't remember the 4th track on here, but it was really good. But it made it at my number 3, so yeah. And number 2 is While She Sleeps, So What. This album was really good. There was a lot of great chanting in the backgrounds of these songs while the Screamo singer was screaming his lungs out. I did enjoy The Guilty Party. That was probably my favorite song on this album. Gates of Paradise was pretty good too. But it would have gotten a better rating if it strived to go for a few new tweaks with few new kinds of sounds that they could have gone for with the rock sound. And they could have progressed their songs a little better. Like the first song, Antisocial, was just a mix of good and bad song. But it wasn't bad, it wasn't great. It had a few messy spots in the song, but it made it at my number 2. And at number 1, drum roll please, Bad Flower, Okay I'm Sick. This album was great. I love the Daddy song on here. It really has emotional feels in that song and very chilling moments when you listen to it. And the Promise Me song has grown on me a lot more. I wasn't crazy about how the chorus went about itself, there wasn't much momentum in it, but it has grown on me a lot more, and I really have enjoyed it for what this album is striving for. And the lead singer talks about his mental illness and depression in certain songs in here, like Ghost, where he feels like he wants to commit suicide, but he's mostly making a song about how he feels. But this album really did good, and it made it at my number 1. And that is going to be it for this top 15 decent to good albums of 2019 for part 2 of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Comment below. Let me know what your top 15 decent to good albums of 2019 are. And if you like this review, comment below and let me know your thoughts on it. Tap a like on this video if you liked it. Subscribe to my channel if you can to support the channel. I will be returning to you Friday for Ashley Tisdale's Symptoms album review and Bad Religion's Age of Unreason album review. So thank you for watching this review. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in my next video.